Okay, we ready? We ready to record? Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I know. I told you it doesn't matter about the trousers. They can only see the top half. You know, I should have worn trousers, but I couldn't be bothered. See, it's fine. We don't need them. Yeah, I know. I should have worn underpants at least, but they're all in the wash. I haven't got any clean ones, so sorry. Next time, but it's fine. I don't think they can see it. I'm not sure. I told you we should have got one of those cameras with the flip-up screen, but I'll tell you what. Worst case, if it's in shot, we can just edit it out afterwards. We'll pixelate it. That's what we'll do. We'll do that. What do you mean it won't take many pixels? Right. All right. That's it. Thanks for your help, Mum. Just press record now, and we can do this. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So it's time for video review number 3, and today it's going to be James Bronnley's original Eau de Toilette. Cue titles. Okay, so welcome back everybody, and thanks for joining me for fragrance review number 3. And as I mentioned before, today it's going to be James Bronnley's original Eau de Toilette. So this one is designated as another aromatic fougere. It was released in 2011, and the price for 100 ml is an incredibly inexpensive £16 here in the UK. I believe it's a little bit more in America, because I was turned on to this fragrance by a very good review by another reviewer, Maximillian Heusler, who reviewed this along with a couple of other fragrances in one video, and he said that it was $50 over in America. So it's still pretty cheap actually for 100 ml over there, but it does seem to be ridiculously cheap here where it's made in England. So really, if you like it, it could be a really inexpensive gem, this one. So let's get into the nitty gritty of the review. Let's check out the box first then. I've got to do that with my other 2 fragrances, but I will include that from now on. So a very nice box, very attractive, tasteful, and you've got some interesting information there, and a little bit of information about the notes on the fragrance on the back, which is always good to have. I like that. So it's a nice tasteful box, doesn't look cheap at all. Let's have a look at the actual bottle itself. Whoops, hold on. Okay, so the bottle, similarly well presented, tasteful, simple, but good. It looks nice. It doesn't look cheap. It's a nice shape. I like it. It's a bit different to the usual shape. Nice big bottle. And the label's really pleasant. I like the script they've got there. And it's got the Her Majesty's government thing. It means it's got something to do with the royal family, that crest. I never really know what that means. But anyway, nice bottle. Cap a little bit plasticky and cheap, but nothing bad about it. If you told me this was from the niche house of James Bronnley, similar to Penhaligon's or something, I wouldn't be complaining about that presentation. It looks nice. So, more importantly, how does this one smell? Let's find out. I know it well, but I'm going to remind myself with a couple of sprays here. It's a great opening. I really love the opening on this one. So the opening on this fragrance is all about citrus, freshness, and that's what you get when it kicks off. The notes actually I should have listed those first, so let's do that now. The top notes: bergamot, Italian lemon, neroli, and sweet lime. The mid is herbs and moss. Don't know if that means the same thing as oak moss. Anyone wants to tell me, that'd be great. The base is wild mint, amber, cedar, and vetiver. So back to how it smells. You've got the bergamot, the Italian lemon, the neroli definitely coming through strongly, a bit like a lot of eau de colognes for 7-Eleven, that kind of thing. It's a nice, fresh, bright opening. But there's something a bit more going on. Yes, definitely. The lime, that's not a most typical note in fragrances. And I think you can detect a little bit of that green kind of lime flavour in there. I even think that this one smells a little bit like pear. It's not a note that's listed, but I get a kind of pear-like feeling, maybe from a combination of the other notes. So it's a bright citrus scent, but it's a little bit more going on even in the opening, and yeah, I certainly find that suggestive of pear kind of note in there quite nice. Anyone who knows me will know that I really like a nice big juicy pear. So moving on to the dry down, it gets more woodsy. They've listed cedar, vetiver, amber, and you definitely get all that. You get a lovely, nice, fresh, but a little bit earthy dry down. Very nice, very pleasant. Then you also get that wild mint note. I get that. I can smell that herbal minty kind of note. Not like toothpaste or anything like that, but more of a kind of fresh mint leaves note, very subtly in there. So a really pleasant, well-rounded, fresh citrus eau de cologne type of fragrance that is actually one to check out if you like things perhaps like Acqua di Parma. The niche house who produce relatively expensive cologne style fragrances. They have fragrances which smell pretty similar to this actually, and they're also really good. Things like Colonia Essenza, the original Acqua di Parma Colonia, and I think they've got Assoluta and Intensa colognes, and this could be one of that range. It could be one of the Acqua di Parma Colonia range, in my opinion. If this one came out and it's the newest one and they call it Colonia Especial or something, I'd be smelling it thinking, wow, yeah, that's really nice. They've done it again. They've produced another really interesting take on this kind of fragrance. So yeah, this fragrance has its own unique thing going on. It's maybe a British take on the kind of Acqua di Parma style fragrance. There's something a little bit dusty and archaic about the way it dries down with this woodsy feel, maybe a little bit old-fashioned again, as with a lot of my fragrances it seems. And I did see some good base notes reviews. One of the most popular reviewers there, Colin Maillard, who seems to have loads of fans on that site, did describe it as funereal and archaic. So I don't know about funereal, but I get the slightly dusty, old-fashioned element to it. I mean, he was very complimentary, he liked it, and so do I. But you've got a fresh citrus cologne with a little bit of dusty, old 1950s feel in there. So it's really interesting, enjoyable throughout, and thoroughly pleasant and well blended. Nothing cheap in the smell at all. So on to other issues. Performance. The projection I think is pretty okay. I've said before I have a hard time judging projection on fragrances, but I've looked at other reviews. The general consensus is no one said it has really bad, weak projection, so I think it's there. It's not pushing out, it's not a beast mode scent, it's not filling the room, but if people are in your personal space, I think that they should get a whiff of this, definitely. Longevity is really good, I find. I really find the longevity good, especially for a fresh type of fragrance. This one sticks around for a good few hours, probably mostly as a scent that's close to your skin, but I've definitely got whiffs of it several hours after wearing it, and even sometimes after I've had a shower and stuff, I'm sure I can still smell it a bit, so that suggests it's got really good staying power. So, who would like it, when to wear it, and where you could wear it? Let's talk about that next. Well, as with some of my other reviews so far, this one does lean a little bit towards older people, perhaps 30s and upwards. It's not a suitable fragrance, probably for very young people who are looking to go out and socialise with other people in their early 20s or even younger. This one's probably not going to appeal to them so much, I would guess. So people late 20s, 30s upwards might be the ones most interested in wearing this. It would go great if you work in a job where you wear a suit and you want to carry on with that kind of clean, laundered suit kind of feel. This would be a lovely fragrance to spray on. It's not too offensive, and it's not going to upset anyone, but it sticks around a nice amount of time, smells clean and a little bit interesting and off the beaten track. So it would be a great choice for most people at work, I would say. I wear it to work quite often. I work in the, I guess we could call it the leisure industry. I work mainly out of my local dockyard, and a lot of my work is working with sailors coming back from long voyages. So I've had very good feedback. They seem to really like the smell. I've had a lot of compliments from them on this fragrance. In fact, sometimes I wish that they didn't like the smell quite as much as they do seem to. But anyway, so yeah, the seasons all year round, definitely. Suggestive, a little bit of spring, but I think because it's got that woodsy element, it's not just a citrusy fresh one. It's fine all year round. It definitely feels more to me like a daytime fragrance. I think you absolutely could wear it on a night out. But if you've got a small collection, you've nearly always got things that push out and feel a bit more like a nighttime, hey, I'm wearing a fragrance type of smell. Whereas this is, I guess, understated is a good word for this one. So I think maybe it's leaning towards a daytime fragrance, but a very, very fantastic one at that. Okay, so let's move on with the review. How many sprays should you wear? I have not mentioned that in other videos. With this one, I think that you can go reasonably heavy on the sprayer. It is not very loud. It's a fresh citrus spray scent, so it requires a little bit of application to get some results out of it. So I think you can really go a little bit heavy on the sprays, 6 or 7. Don't think it's going to be a problem for you, and you might want to take it around with you and reapply through the day if you're using it as your work scent. Or I've actually decanted. If you're wondering why the bottle's almost completely full, this is my second bottle. I actually decanted some of the last one into a little thing like this, which goes in my gym bag, and I also have that with me at work. So if I want to reapply, then I have no worries about doing this, because it's such a cheap fragrance. Don't mind doing 10, 12, 15 sprays over the course of the day, maybe in 2 or 3 applications, and I feel like I smell okay, hopefully. So yeah, definitely one where you can go heavy with the application for good results, and as long as you're not exceeding double figures in any one application, I don't think you're going to have too much of a problem. So overall, to summarise this fragrance, it's an excellent eau de cologne style fragrance with good performance. That is a good one to check out if you like things like Acqua di Parma Colonia range of scents. It's much cheaper, so you could really offset buying some of those. If you bought one of those, £85 for 100ml here in the UK, and this one's £16 for 100ml. So you buy one of each, you've still only spent £100, and you've got 200ml of great fragrances. So overall, it works out you haven't really spent that much per mil. So think about that. So it's a really overall gentlemanly, fresh but interesting scent that is very much not talked about. I think there's only one other reviewer that I mentioned earlier who's looked at it. So I really would hope to give some attention to this one in the fragrance community, and send people in the direction of a scent they really might like. So thank you so much for joining me. My overall mark for this one was 8 out of 10. Very good. And thank you so much. We'll hopefully see you soon with another review. And just remember, if anyone says they don't like the fragrance you're wearing, you know what to say to them. Suck my sillage. Good night.